We've got another Ark Community Crunch to tear into, with some possible irregularities to discuss. Plus, Ark Survival Ascended is footage incoming, and sooner than we expected. I've got thoughts on all of it, so let's dive right in. Welcome back to the channel. I am LukeTheDuke, and I've got to say it feels great getting back into the land of Ark. I spent the last week covering my other passion, first and third person shooters, which are all posted over on the channel. You're of course invited to check them all out. You've got some Division, The Day Before, Battlefield, and much more. Anyways, it's there, so enjoy. And while you're over there, maybe consider hitting subscribe and ringing the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. The channel is getting dangerously close to hitting 125,000 subscribers, and who knows, I might have a little thank you planned for hitting that goal. We'll see. And speaking of seeing, I know, terrible transition, but hey, it's early Saturday morning. We've got another Ark Community Crunch to get after. Number 365 went live a little late yesterday, and the team at Wildcard, perhaps after seeing the collective community groan at seeing Ark 2 news in a previous crunch, has now again shifted back to showcasing Ark Survival Ascended assets. This time it is structures. Now on the left, we've got the current ASE look, and on the right, the newly enhanced possible ASA version. I throw possible in there as the description says captured in Unreal Engine 4 or 5, but once again, these don't look to be captured in-game. They are simply asset picks grabbed in engine. Now, I would have loved to have seen something ripped directly from ASA, like having someone run up to the current structure setup in ASE, then doing the same in ASA, then like a side-by-side comparo, maybe even a tour of the structures in-game. You know, that would have been incredible. But alas, here we go again with side-by-side asset comparisons, a point that was happily received by our famous Chaos Quartet over in the Steam forums, which all posted at the exact same time. Of course, numbers 1 through 4, and all edited, again, pretty much at the exact same time. The wood and thatched textures are notably improved, which is to be expected. We see the storage box, forge, and bookshelf, and really take notice in the change in height, allowing for items to be completely placed underneath the stairs. Now, this is a much better use of space, and with this increase in height and verticality, could it be signaling towards changes in the inhabitants? Who knows? Also take special notice at the use of shadows and lighting. The ASA version seems to be taking full advantage of what UE5 can do, but seeing this live in-game would have been what everyone would have preferred. Now, when we drop down and really start to examine the stone tier structures, this is where I begin to get skeptical, but more on that in just a moment. At this time, both assets feature a bunk bed, forge, air conditioner, and a fabricator, and obviously the ASA version is going to look much better, as it should, and again, we get those dramatic lighting effects. And here's where a few variances caught my eye, almost as if the portion of my brain dedicated to Ark physics started trying to do the math and it just didn't compute. First off, and it might just be the use of stone versus wood and the difference in reflective properties here, I honestly don't know, but notice how brightly the floors are illuminated in these UE4 versions with just 2 torches used in both of these frames. That's a ton of light filling up those rooms, and it looks like they positioned a secondary light source like the moon or spotlight directly overhead, but still, that's a dramatic difference in light levels between those 2 ASE versions, again, using just the same 2 torches. Second, and I don't know if you actually see it, but in the UE4 version of the stone tier structure, they've stuffed the fabricator completely underneath the stairs, which is where my brain was like, what? Because based on the height needed to make that work, this can't happen in the current ASE version of the game. And lo and behold, my thoughts were confirmed when, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, LtBuzzLitebeer posted this photo down in the comment section. And this is an accurate ASE replication of the asset shown. And you can clearly see the fabricator just blowing right through the bottom of the stairs. So, is the Stone Tier ASE pick actually created in Unreal Engine 5, and then the devs have come along and turned off the dynamic lighting for this specific shot? I can't answer that, but maybe someone with some top-tier graphics knowledge could enlighten us all. But you can certainly see some irregularities in these photos, and it does raise some questions. Moving along, and the Community Crunch submissions are still in full effect, this time for Ragnarok, with a greatly reduced submission period ending on just June 12th? That's in a few days. Ragnarok was not the map I thought would be up so fast for a creature submission for ASA, raising the question, could Ragnarok be launching in tandem with ASA, or if not, shortly thereafter? Definitely a comedic area of the crunch is the next topic, Conquest Season 5 update. And at this point, anything Conquest related is just taboo. There's still been no word about snail games, tea, any sort of fair environments moving forward, and no reinstatement for those that were unfairly banned. PvP is not for everyone, but it's certainly an exciting and chaotic element to Ark, and that demands a steady hand to get it back on track. What is also missing here is any word as to how PvP will be monitored when ASA launches. I've been seeing a lot of dedicated Ark PvPers, the real OGs, moving away from the game entirely and just gravitating to other games. And finally, finishing up on the Crunch News portion of this upload is the next EVO event starting on June 12th. You've got 3 times up to 5 times depending on the servers, as you can see from the artwork. Okay. On to the main event. I'm actually rubbing my hands together here. Let's talk about Ark Survival Ascended. Should we be expecting a trailer or live action footage, and very soon, which in itself is kind of a comical topic to be discussing, right? As ASA is scheduled to launch in a couple of months, and at this point we've seen nothing save some just basic asset pics. Now for this, we've all got our desperate for ASA footage goggles trained on tomorrow's Xbox Games Showcase. So let's break this all down and approach it from all the angles. Now first up is the theory that since the wildcard crunches and most of the comms team's posts have pretty much steered clear of going into anything ASA except for these still shots, this apparently means that the real reveal, the world premiere, is being saved for a major event, with some speculating it will be tomorrow's Xbox Showcase. It is true that Xbox has ponied up some tidy sums of money to get their subscribers access to ASE, bringing it to Xbox Game Pass, and we know that Microsoft has also paid a reported $2.3 million in deferred revenue related to Ark 2, and at this point, we haven't seen anything mentioning Sony, PlayStation, and Ark 2. Now, I still don't think this will become an Xbox exclusive, as PlayStation is the largest cross-section of gamers in the world, and cutting them out of Ark 2 would be a financial mistake. But I digress. Back to this lack of any real ASA footage and the point that it could all be incoming at this Xbox Showcase, and I honestly don't know. I tend to be pretty cautious with my predictions. I mean, this is the games industry we're talking about here. And with Redfall's recent just epic implosion, it looks like Xbox is going all in, showing off Starfield at tomorrow's event. Now, Ark is a big deal. It has a ton of players worldwide, and using it as hype or filler as the showcase builds up to showing off their baby, Starfield kind of feels like the wrong move here. Then again, with the recent statements from Uncle Phil over at Microsoft and the just barren wasteland of recent Xbox first-party flops, they could be throwing caution to the wind and bringing out all the big guns at the showcase. But, as you know, I like to throw in buts. As far as I've seen, through all my research, Ark Survival Ascended is not an Xbox exclusive. I mean, I could be wrong here. It is coming to PlayStation, more specifically PS4 owners, so allowing the footage to first hit an Xbox kind of exclusive showcase and not giving Sony the same ability to drop the announcements feels, at least to me, that it could lead to some serious financial blowback and ill will from Sony. don't get me wrong here, I'm just as curious to see what Wildcard has cooked up for the future of Ark, especially using the latest in Unreal Engine tech. And I may be wrong, again, it's happened many times in the past, but something about tomorrow's Xbox event just doesn't feel like we're going to be getting anything substantial from Ark. But I want to know what you think about all of this. Sound off in the comment section below. If you happen to like this Ark upload, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel, and while you're at it, take just a few seconds more to ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. If you could also rate and or share this video, that would be greatly appreciated. Remember, you can find and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and in my open community Discord server, links to all of which can be found in the video description and pinned comments below. Shout out to the over 123,000 of you that have taken the leap and hit subscribe, and as always, a special thanks goes out to my patrons over on Patreon. Until the next one, this is LukeTheDuke, signing off.